Are you tired of waking up early just to sit in traffic for a job you're not even passionate about? What if instead your morning started like this? Coffee by the beach, having your office wherever you want it to be. But how do you actually land a remote job and make the move abroad without going broke or getting lost? In this video, I want to share with you exactly how I did it and how you can do it too. By the end of this video, you'll see that achieving this lifestyle isn't that hard as long as you put effort into it. Before getting started, I'm currently in Jomtien, Pattaya, where I will be staying for a very, very long time. So if any of you guys are traveling through Pattaya or are in Pattaya, hit me up. Why I left Samui for Pattaya is a whole other subject which we can talk about another time. But right now, let's talk about work. I've been living abroad now for over 10 years, and I'm really glad I started early because I quickly realized that it isn't this huge impossible thing that people make it out to be. I never came from money, and I never asked my parents for help. When I lived in Australia and Austria, I worked as a waiter and bartender. Nothing glamorous, but it helped to pay the bills and gave me the freedom that I needed. When I moved back to Sweden, I applied to over 100 jobs and I got no response. So I started looking at what's in demand, and sales stood out. I landed a job at a solar energy company, and I realized that this is a job that I can do from anywhere in the world. I brought this up with my boss and he said, well, keep doing well and we'll talk. I kept crushing it. I even got promoted to team leader, but the opportunity to go remote never came. And I was miserable, so I just left. I found another company in the same industry with the agreement that I could work remotely. And 3 months later, I'm in Thailand. Now, my story hasn't been about luck. It has been about mindset, strategy, and making the move when the door opened. But let's rewind for a second, because the question I get asked all the time is how do I actually get a remote job like that? So let me break it down for you step by step how you can find a remote job today that fits your skill and lifestyle. First, let's take a look at the platforms that I personally used every day when I was job hunting. Some of them helped me land interviews, and others, well, they taught me what to avoid. Let's start with a platform called Remote OK, which is like the no bullshit marketplace of remote jobs. There's no fluff. You go in, pick your field, say tech, marketing, design, and boom, you're looking at real listings. I love how clean and fast it was. You have a lot of filtering options for benefits and whatnot, and you see the salary range up front. The downside? Well, it's very startup and tech heavy, and if you're not into that world, it might feel like a bit of a dead end. And there's no profile system like LinkedIn. It is literally just a list. But for scanning new jobs every morning with your coffee, perfect. Alright, so next up we have a platform called We Work Remotely, and this one's been around forever. And I mean that in a good way. Companies like Google and GitHub have used it to hire remote workers, and I used to check this one constantly because the quality of the jobs were just better. But again, it's very tech heavy and the lack of salary filters is a bummer. Some listings are super vague too. You click the link and end up in some confusing third-party site. Still, it is solid if you're in design, development, or writing. Moving on. FlexJobs is for people who want, let's call it more of a security, as every job posting here is screened by a human, so you won't be falling into any scams. I really recommend this one if you're coming from a traditional 9 to 5 and want something more stable remote. They got teaching, admin, HR, writing, customer support, whatever you need, they got it. But the only downside is that you have to pay to access the full listings. And last time I checked, it was like $25 a month. It is worth it if you're serious, but maybe not ideal if you're on a tight budget or just browsing for inspiration. We need to talk about LinkedIn. Yes, it is a weird cesspool of self-proclaimed business gurus, and yeah, it is extremely cringy, but I gotta admit, it is still one of the best places to find a remote job if you know how to properly filter. I've gotten interviews straight out of LinkedIn just by applying with my profile, and it's so easy to apply through LinkedIn with their easy apply function. And honestly, the responses that I've gotten is unmatched compared to the other platforms. Like, there's so many companies getting back to me with either a rejection or they let me in for an interview. But be warned, competition is fierce. Like, everyone and their cat is applying for the same job. And sometimes remote means remote in the US only, or remote except for Wednesdays, so read carefully. Now, of course, I gotta give a shout out to platforms such as Fiverr and Upwork if you're freelancing. Tons of competitions, but if you manage to niche down your market, you can definitely build a location-independent income. The truth is, you don't need to be some kind of a coding wizard or a startup prodigy to land a remote job. You just need to get good and provide value. So let's talk about the skills that are currently in demand if you're looking to go remote. Okay, so every other remote worker that I meet seems to be a marketeer, so this is definitely one of the bigger ones. Think SEO, paid ads, social media, email funnels. Companies everywhere are desperate for help growing online. And what's beautiful about marketing is that it's not just big brands anymore. Even the small businesses and solo creators are hiring remote marketeers. So if you're creative as fuck, well, go for it. You can start with a free Google Digital Garage course or experiment on your own socials. I've seen people land roles just by showing what they've done for their own projects. Oh, this one's a classic and it's still one of the most in-demand skill sets out there. Whether it's front-end development or back-end development, there's always a demand. But here's the kicker, you don't need a CS degree. There are boot camps, online certifications, and tons of YouTubers who'll teach you for free. And if you're more of a visual person, well, user experience and user interface design might be your lane. Yeah boy, then we got the content creators. Here we have the video editors, the writers, the thumbnail designers, even voiceover artists. Content is king, and creators need help. Whether it's YouTubers, TikTok brands, or podcast producers, they're all building teams and many of them are doing it remotely. Start editing your own stuff, like write a blog post, make a mock YouTube thumbnail, and build a small portfolio. I mean, I had a couple of small-time editors reach out to me, so if you're into editing, well, reach out to your target group. So this one is definitely not flashy, but it's super in demand and perfect if you want to break into remote work quickly. If you're good at writing clearly, solving problems, and staying patient with customers, well, this could be a great start. Alrighty, so this one hits home to me. This is how I broke into remote work. Now, let me tell you a bit about sales. Sales is one of those skills that will always be in demand as it is the engine of a business. Salespeople are basically giga-chads with maximum charisma. Just don't tell people you work in sales or they will never trust you completely. But the cool thing is, it is a skill that can be learned. So if you're not afraid of talking to people, handling objections, and being persistent, this is a fast track to real good income and works in almost any industry. You don't need to be a tech genius to break into remote work, you just need to find a way to deliver value to a company and then prove that you can do it remotely. Now, you won't be good in just one day or 1 week. It took me almost 2 years to be confident enough and to have my portfolio so I could transition into remote work. Focus on one of these skill sets. Learn just enough to be dangerous and then start applying. Cool, so you've locked in your skill and found some potential job listings. Now what? Well, now my friends, you need to compete with hundreds, if not thousands of other applicants. You need to stand out. So here's what worked for me and what I've seen work for so many others as well. First, start by building a portfolio. Even if you're brand new, you don't need clients, you don't need permission, you just need proof. If you're learning digital marketing, run a campaign for your friend's Shopify store, learning design, mock up projects for fake companies, practicing writing, start a blog and write case studies. It doesn't need to be paid work, it just needs to show what you got. Just take action and whatever experience you can add it's a huge plus. When I transitioned into sales, I didn't just say that I could deliver. I shared results, scripts, numbers, and the fact that I climbed the ladder. And this is what made companies take me seriously. And this leads to point number 2. Build a strong LinkedIn profile. Your LinkedIn is like your remote job business card. Don't be sloppy. Make sure your headline isn't just looking for work. Make it value focused with shit that corporations want to hear, like helping startups grow through content and strategy. Now, I'm not going to go into detail how you can build a strong LinkedIn profile as there are countless guides for that. But here's a serious pro tip. Stalk people who work on potential firms on LinkedIn, so not in real life. And engage with their posts, share your values and comment a lot. Make yourself seen and there's a good chance that you will show up in recruiters' feed, and that's exactly where you want to be. Step number 3, tailor your CV to remote roles. Remote companies want more than just skill. They want to know if you can work independently, if you can communicate well in writing, and if you're reliable across time zones. In your resume, mention tools like Slack, Asana, Trello, and Zoom, and highlight past experiences where you work solo or handle responsibilities without needing constant supervision. I mean, you can use phrases like collaborated with international teams via Zoom and Slack, successfully led projects while working 100% remotely, or managed tasks independently using Notion or Trello. Now, I used my university degree a lot in my resume as I was studying hybrid, meaning that most of the time it was online while I was balancing my work life. So it showed that I could still take on the responsibility of conducting my studies while at home. Now, step number 4 is cold outreach and networking. Don't just wait around for the perfect job listing, be proactive. Believe it or not, cold outreach still works in 2025. Reach out to hiring managers or team leads on LinkedIn with a short and personalized message. It is very important to adapt a give before you ask mindset. Engage first, provide value, and then ask. Don't wait until you feel ready. So start applying before you feel 100% qualified. You can always learn on the way, but you cannot land the job that you never applied for. Okay, so you've landed the remote job or you started freelancing. Well, now comes the fun part. Where in the world would you like to live? Let's talk a bit about it. First, let's factor in the cost of living. So start with your budget. Can you live comfortably and save? Places like Thailand, Vietnam, and Colombia are digital nomad favorites for a reason, as you can live well on between $1,000 to $1,500 per month. I'm currently based in Pattaya, Thailand, which is beachside living. You have fresh food, close to Bangkok, and you can live in luxury for a very, very affordable price. If you're more into mountain vibes and coffee shop co-working, Chiang Mai in northern Thailand is well known for its digital nomad scene and even lower costs. Experiment and find a location where you feel like home. Or heck, just jump around. I mean, the world is your oyster. The next very, very important thing to consider when you're picking a home is the time zone compatibility. So, will your work overlap with specific time zones? If you're working for a company based in the US, Asia might be a bit difficult if you don't like working late nights. For me and for Europeans in general, Southeast Asia works really well as it is only between 5 to 7 hours time difference. So I have the mornings free to do whatever I want, and then I grind in the afternoon and the evenings. Next up, we got to talk about visas. Obviously, a visa is very important if you want to stay longer in a country. Some countries let you stay only 30 days and some 3 months. But a few have digital nomad visas now, like Indonesia, Malaysia, Portugal, and even Thailand. If you want to move and live long time in Thailand, I strongly suggest you get the Destination Thailand visa, or the DTV visa for short, which lets you stay here for 5 years. This is the visa that I currently have, and I applied for it in Sweden, and it took me about a week to get it, as I needed to add some supporting documents. For this visa, I needed to show the Thai embassy a foreign employment contract showing my role and that I could work remotely, proof of a salary slip from that company where 1 month was enough, financial evidence of 500,000 baht. Once again, 1 month was enough. I didn't need to show several months back. And I needed to also provide a document indicating that I was currently in Sweden when I applied for the visa. So I sent in my rental contract. Now, by the time I was applying for this visa, I wasn't entirely liquid for the 500,000 baht required. I had a big chunk of that money invested into assets such as stocks, and the Thai embassy in Sweden were kind enough to count that into the required 500,000. Now, the requirements vary significantly depending on which country you're applying from. So while Sweden was very lax about it, some countries are way stricter with their regulations. So it is a good idea to check with the embassy in the country you're applying from
before applying, as you're also paying a fee of about $400 every time you apply. And if you get rejected, you don't get the money back. Now, I had a gazillion questions about the DTV visa before applying. So if you guys have any questions regarding the visa or anything else, please write it down in the comments. And here I want to just give a quick shout out to Code with Stav, who actually commented about the DTV visa and made me bring it up here now. So shout out to you, man. Thank you. Keep the questions coming. Next up, we have community, where other expats or nomads are going. This one is very underrated, but don't move somewhere lonely. You will want a place where there's an existing remote work or expat scene. Of course, you want to meet local people as well, but to foster creativity, I highly recommend that you network with other digital nomads as well. Previously now, when I lived in Koh Samui, I found awesome people through co-working spaces and Facebook groups. If you're just starting out and want to instantly plug into the community, go where the nomads are. So think Chiang Mai, Bali, Medellin, Da Nang or Lisbon. So the bottom line here is that choosing the right base isn't just about palm trees or pretty cities. It is about building a lifestyle that supports your work, your wallet, and your happiness. Mic drop. Okay, so you found a remote job and you picked a destination. Well, now it's time to make the move happen. Jesus Christ, congratulations. This is a beautiful stage to be in. Now, here's how to do it smart and not stressful. Start by downsizing and preparing financially. First off, you don't need as much as you think. I sold almost everything back in Sweden before I moved to Thailand. It was extremely freeing and it helped me to stack up a buffer fund. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I had about 150,000 Swedish crowns saved, so it was just enough to qualify for the visa. I would recommend you to aim for between 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up before you make the move. Even if you're earning remotely, having that cushion gives you a certain peace of mind while you're settling in. And honestly, even if your costs do go down while you live abroad, flights, deposits, visas, and unexpected expenses add up quickly in the beginning. Alright, second, before you move, get a digital nomad insurance. Trust me on this, things go wrong abroad, and travel insurance is not the same as a nomad insurance. So you want something that would cover your remote work, your tech gear, your health, and also travel hiccups. I previously recommended a comprehensive guide for insurances, and I'm gonna put that once again down in the description. Check it out, it is very good. It breaks it all down by price, coverage, and also countries. But some other good names to look up is Safety Wing, Insured Nomads, and Genki. Okay, so another very important factor to look up is the internet stability in the place that you're going. This one is critical if you work online, so make sure that you have a reliable and stable Wi-Fi at your destination. In Koh Samui and also here in Pattaya, in Thailand in general, the internet is just amazing. It is super fast and extremely reliable. So far, I had no problems. But I always keep a local SIM card with hotspot as a backup. And I always check my hotel or apartment at fast.com to measure the internet speed before booking long term, just to make sure. I've seen some nomads carry portable Wi-Fi routers or even Starlink for some remote places. It is not necessary everywhere, but it's nice to know. Now, to end this video, I just want to remind you all that this lifestyle isn't about being lucky. It is about making a choice. If I can do it, so can anyone. So just start with one step and the rest will follow. Now, guys, I want to show you something. Check this out. See this? I have over 100 subscribers now. Oh my God. So I want to take this time to thank you all. It means so much. And I'm really happy to see people from all over the world enjoy the videos that I'm making. This is hella fun and you're all my heroes, really. For all of you that are new to this channel and for all the non-subscribers, check out my content for videos about my lifestyle here in Thailand and for tips and tricks if you want to make the move abroad. I would also love if you guys could comment with any questions that you have and if there's anything that I didn't cover in this video, and I will get right back to you. Now, I'm trying to release videos weekly. However, this video took way too long to make and it was Songkran here in Thailand and my equipment isn't waterproof. So yeah, it just took way too long. If you haven't subscribed already, please make sure to do so you stay in tune with the flow. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.